the official communications from the interior within the last few days have excited in my humble mind the most sincere concern and regret for the recent calamities in which the unfortunate settlers on the banks of the Nepean and Hawkesbury have been once more involved by the late dreadful inundations of those rivers. Whilst it does not fall within the reach of human foresight or precaution to be able to guard effectually against the baneful recurrence of such awful visitations, or to avoid being more or less involved therein, yet, when the too fatal experience of years has shown the sufferers the inevitable consequences of their willful and wayward habit of placing their residences and stockyards within the reach of the floods, as if putting at defiance that impetuous element which it is not for man to contend with. And whilst it must still be had in remembrance that many of the deplorable losses which have been sustained within the last few years at least might have been in great measure averted had the settlers paid due consideration to their own interests and to the frequent admonitions they had received by removing their residences from within the flood marks to the townships assigned for them on the highlands. It must be confessed that the compassion excited by their misfortunes is mingled with sentiments of astonishment and surprise that any people could be found so totally insensible to their true interests as the settlers have in this instance proved themselves. I do, however, still cherish the hope that the calamities which have befallen the settlers will produce at least the good effect of stimulating them to the highly expedient and indispensable measure of proceeding to establish their future residences in the townships allotted for the preservation of themselves, their families, and their property, and that they will, one and all, adopt the firm resolution of forthwith erecting their habitations on the highlands, cheered with the animating hope and fair prospect of retrieving at no very distant day their late losses, and securing themselves from their further recurrence. Those who, notwithstanding, shall perversely neglect the present admonition and exhortation to their own benefit, must be considered wilfully and obstinately blind to their true interests, and undeserving any future indulgences, whilst, on the contrary, those who shall meet this severe dispensation of Providence with manly fortitude and unbroken spirit may rest assured that their exertions and industry will not only merit but obtain the favourable consideration and protection of this government. These orders are to be read during the time of divine service at each of the churches and chapels throughout the colony on the next 3 ensuing Sundays. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.